What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and today we've got some awesome Destiny 2 topics to cover. Mainly, we've got some new information and, in fact, brand new gameplay from the Destiny 2 raid. And the raid conspiracy, if you will, has grown even more. We're gonna go even further down the rabbit hole in this video. It's gonna be pretty exciting. So, first off, however, the news of today is that the Destiny 2 PC beta is live in early access for anyone who pre-ordered the game and entered their codes properly. Tomorrow it's going to become an open beta at 10 AM Pacific for everyone to enjoy. Now, something new that has been added to the PC beta, because most things are generally the same. The loot, everything seems to be the same aside from the new map within the control playlist. They renamed like one auto rifle, but aside from that, it's the same gun. But the new thing that has been added is high value targets and the fact that they're dropping loot. Now, I've already done a video on this, so in short, when you kill those big high value targets like Storm Minotaurs or these Cabal here, they will actually drop loot chests just like they will in the full game. In fact, something just new that I discovered like 20 minutes ago is that if you do that public event style of event on Nessus where you kill those Vex and you jump through the different teleporters to those 3 different locations, every time you kill the 3 different Storm Minotaurs, all 3 of them, as you can see in the background gameplay, are dropping those loot chests. Now that's important because they don't seem to award anything. However, there could be an incredibly small chance for them to award blue or green gear. And if you do get that gear, you're going to be essentially the only person in the world with access to potentially new weapons for now. Now, the reason I mention that is because in the previous console beta, there was an incredibly small chance for the strike boss at the end of the Inverted Spire to drop blue loot. This blue weapon that someone was incredibly lucky to get was an actual drop from the console beta. So it is possible, however, quite unlikely. Just thought I'd mention that first off. The next piece of news that is actually quite interesting, speaking of loot, is that Mark Noseworthy came out on Twitter and said that you will no longer have to put on your best gear before decrypting engrams. This was actually the key to leveling up fast. Only decrypting a few engrams and then putting that new higher light gear on to advance your light level, and then decrypting more engrams that would then be related to your new higher light level. You basically only decrypt one engram, check it, put it on, decrypt the next one, and so on. But now, according to this tweet, in Destiny 2, it's just going to automatically check all of your loot and give you engram decryptions based on your highest possible level. You won't have to go through that whole rigmarole in order to level up as fast as possible and, frankly, properly. And that is definitely some great news, and it's really going to help those new players who aren't aware of that tactic and otherwise would have leveled up simply slower than the Destiny vets for even doing the same activities and getting the same rewards. And speaking of leveling and new players, something very interesting to note is that exotics are not only for the endgame. In fact, in this screenshot here, you can see a player inspecting a green and comparing it to the exotic he has equipped. The exotic in question is this Void Pulse Rifle here that we have seen in promotional material. Now, if you look closely, you can see that this exotic is available to use at level 11. Not 20, which is presumably the level cap as showcased by this leaked PlayStation 4 trophy, but 11. And that means that you're going to be able to utilize exotic gear in the very early levels as you are leveling up. Now the question remains, is there a way to bring their light level up to the maximum light level? I would assume so through infusion, or you're going to have to get the level 20 version. That does seem unlikely, but it is, in any event, very interesting that you can get this exotic loot quite early in the game. Alright, now on to the raid news, and we're going to start by talking about European Dead Zone Patrol. Trust me, it'll all make sense in a bit. It was actually unveiled throughout some gameplay that in the European Dead Zone, you can get to this really crazy, dark, twisted forest area if you go on a particular adventure that does take you there. And this was discovered by Critical Hit on YouTube. Now this is already quite interesting, a somewhat secretive area that you can get to within the European Dead Zone patrol mode. And actually, if we look at this European Dead Zone screenshot, perhaps this area here is the Dark Forest area. Now, the reason I bring this up is because we now have, with the new one today, being 3 sections of raid gameplay. The first 2 have existed for quite a while. They existed way back with the Destiny 2 World Gameplay premiere. When the developers were talking about the raid, they showcased 2 pieces of gameplay that always showcased 6 Guardians running somewhere. The first one, they're running down this staircase in what looks like a Vex structure. Up at the top, you can actually see the triangular doors that are very commonplace on these Vex structures. The second piece of gameplay, and this is why I brought up the Dark Forest, it very much looks to take place in the Dark Forest. The 6 Guardians are running through this dark and twisted wilderness. Alright, so that lends credence to the fact that maybe the raid starts or begins at this European Dead Zone area, at this Dark Forest area. Now, why is it a Dark Forest? Well, one of the leading theories is that because it's right under the Traveler. The Traveler's light has affected this forest and actually killed it, which is really, really interesting. Or perhaps the Traveler's light, because it's so strong, the Taken have been just overwhelmingly drawn to this area. Once we killed their leader with Oryx, they're kind of just wasting around doing whatever they please per se. They have no leader, they have no purpose, so they could be definitely drawn to feed on the light right underneath the shard of the Traveler that's in the European Dead Zone. But that aside, again we have these 2 raid clips that somewhat show the raid taking place in this Dark Forest area. And yet, with the raid confirmed to be now called the Leviathan, and clear connections to this piece of Destiny 2 concept art here. In fact, the very shape is the exact same as the symbol present on the trophy for beating this raid. Like, the connection is so clearly there. These 2 places don't make sense, right? You have this massive Cabal ship, and then you have the Dark Forest. And the 2 instances of presumably Destiny 2 raid gameplay that we've seen already do not take place on a Cabal ship. That's for sure. And yet, new gameplay that just came out today, presumably again of the raid in the What is Destiny 2 trailer, showcases them running through this very Cabal-like structure. These fans, this whole area looks like they're within a Cabal ship. This gameplay very much lends credence to the whole Leviathan ship theory that's just coming out there. So, what the heck is going on here? We've got 3 instances of gameplay now, with the new one lining up with the main theory of the Leviathan, it being on that massive Cabal ship. But the first 2 lining up with this relatively newly discovered Dark Forest area, and clearly not being on a Cabal ship. Again, the question begs, what the heck is going on? Now, there is a possibility that Bungie is trolling the heck out of us and is just, making it so that 6 players can play in these areas that are not the raid just to show us that gameplay, to kind of fool us for the actual raid. However, another possibility is that in this Dark Forest, and perhaps indeed within the Shard of the Traveler, there's a portal to another world, a portal to this Cabal ship. You fight into the Dark Forest, you get to the Shard of the Traveler, and are teleported to this Cabal ship that's like on its way. If the Traveler is trying to save humanity, if the Traveler is truly on our side, teleporting us to this massive encroaching Cabal ship that's going to destroy our entire solar system would seem like the logical thing to do, actually. Now, admittedly, this is definitely some X-Files, connect the dots, conspiracy level stuff going on here, but it is quite interesting, and the important part is that the couple of seconds of brand new gameplay that we just got today of, presumably the raid because it shows 6 people, definitely is in line with the current theory of the Leviathan Raid taking place on that Cabal super ship, because you're definitely within the bowels of some sort of Cabal structure in that gameplay. Now, whether or not that goes hand in hand or disproves the old raid gameplay is the real question here. In any event, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, found it informative, found it interesting. If you did, please remember to help me out and keep my channel alive by simply smacking that like button. And if you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content in the future, be sure to subscribe. And if you actually want to be notified of new videos, make sure to press the bell beside subscribe. If you guys want to support the channel and myself, check out the official merchandise linked in the description down below. Also linked in the description, and the best way to get in touch with me is my Twitter at RickCacus. Also linked in the description is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.